few, and we pray, cause we know that they might not ever come back. But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time we got, we choose to play it on the go, to stay out on the run. We all high, wild, and
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are here today with the sweater on, where I am currently located. It is around, what is it actually outside? Hold on just a second. It is 31 degrees outside. That's what it looks like, 31 degrees here in Iowa. And it's been a very interesting day. Of course, Trump made his showing yesterday. It has really affected the hair. I mean, we could go with the Cocker Spaniel look. Look at that, buddy. My, oh my. That is, hey, man, we may be keeping this. Hold on. Why did I have a hat on if this is what we could go with? Has anyone figured out that I'm just a troll? Nooker? Huh? Look at that troll. Look at that. Look like I came out of a damn blockbuster in 1995. Look at that. That is just the whipping of it ruins it, flattens it down. Oh my. Where would you see that? All right, let's go back to normalcy. I can't handle it. Let's check the chat. Do we have any chatters within yet? The stream just took off. 9 chatters in here. NASCAR guy is in here. And then Bobo. Can Gravel catch Sweet for those last 50 points or what? 50 points is really hard to make up in the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series point standings. Let me go to the sprint cars right now. Of course, what he's referencing is the 4 days of the Dirt Track World Championship that are coming up here in the next few days. Let's get this web browser up. I do not think I'm going to be able to make the event. Too much last second. Too many trips, to be honest with you. View full schedule. So this is the World Finals, and the sprint car and all this racing is going to be just a little bit different. So this is the event schedule for the first, which will be, let's see, what's the date on that? I believe Wednesday. You'll have the most prestigious, blah, blah, blah. It's just reading it out. I was trying to see the schedules because they split the classes up, I believe. I know they have in the past. I believe this is the first year they went to 4 days. I really... there isn't really a championship up for grabs, I think. Some people are trying to say, maybe Brad Sweet has a chance. For some reason, I can't find a daily schedule of this, which is unfortunate. I see event schedule, I see times, but it doesn't say what classes. It looks like all 3 divisions are listed right here. You see Series Racing, World of Outlaw Late Models, Sprint Cars, and then Support Division, the big blocks. Let's see here. Maybe every day is the same, or is each of these event infos basically providing the same information? That seems to be what it is. But regardless, the point standings is just, like I said, it's hard to even try to get 50 points. I mean, he really needed that Devil's Bowl situation to really go his way. Without that, he wouldn't even be talking about. I mean, and Brad Sweet, bounced back so well. Sorry, I'm just so preoccupied on trying to find out where. I'm assuming it would have been somewhere about shop racing. I thought it would be in racing, like driver or information. It doesn't look like it's that simple to find. But I believe it's only 1 point and then like a 2 point, 4 points to win is the gap, and then 2 points per spot after that. So it's almost impossible. Based on memory, I believe that's what how the points shake up. So if you win and the guy behind you is second, it's a 4-point advantage. If he's third, it's a 6-point advantage. If you finish second and he finishes fourth or third, for instance, it's a 2-point gap. So it's going to be hard to make up 25 or 50 points in a span of 4 days. That's why I was hoping to potentially see what the actual, are they really running all 3 classes every single day at the World Finals? I didn't think that, but they could be splitting them up into different segments. Let's see here. This is interesting. This is some things that maybe everyone needed to know. Okay, Wednesday shows sprint car hot laps, sprint car qualifying. It looks like the late models. Okay, so the late models and sprint cars are running Wednesday night, according to this schedule, which is on Charlotte Motor Speedway, their website. Yeah, hot laps, qualifying. Looks like that's kind of the entire push for heat. Late model qualifying. Sprint car push for heat after qualifying. I guess, based on what this is kind of saying, I guess that the late models and sprint cars will run all night. Thursday show, Thursday, Friday show. You see this, the Super Dirt Car Series have hot laps and then qualifying for Thursday and Friday night show. And it looks like that's kind of what's happening here. So it looks like this is hot laps. I was going to say hot laps and qualifying for all divisions for the Thursday, Friday night events. But then I see this push for heat with the Sprint Car Series. I guess that, is there heat racing to follow with the Sprint Car Series? Obviously, this is a Wednesday. So, not sure. It looks like potentially some of these, like where it says the first one up here, Sprint Car Hot Laps without a dash saying Thursday or Friday show. Could that mean this is Wednesday show, and maybe that's how that's technically working? And if that's the case, that would make sense. And so it looks like Friday you are going to have all 3 classes racing and having features, Thursday and Friday. A split field it looks to be the case. So we're all kind of learning here on the fly. I just haven't really personally looked into it. But it looks like there will be 3 classes racing every single night. I just don't understand personally if this Wednesday show where it shows hot laps and qualifying, or it doesn't actually show qualifying. It does show hot laps, though, without a date technically attached to it. I guess that could just mean Wednesday over all hot laps for the qualifying and everything happening. So potentially all this, like I was saying a minute ago, maybe this Wednesday is all just qualifying. But at the same time, you still have this push for heat that I'm still halfway confused about. But Fest pit party begins, and then it looks like 2 nights of a split field between all 3 divisions, and then Saturday, all the non-qualifiers. Looks like heat races for the Super Dirt Car Series, and then last chances, and then all 3 events. Looks like, based on their order, sprint car, big block, late model will be the final night order. Looks like the qualifying night order, unless these are just put here. Sprint car late model big block on Thursday, big block sprint car late model on Friday. So just a little bit of a interesting schedule for the World Finals, which does start Wednesday. I mean, I want to go, but I mean, I just, at this point, it might be better for us to just sit back and talk about the things that are happening. I know people want to talk about this championship in the sprint cars. I just think 50 points is too much. I was trying to get a actual chart of what the points actually are per position. I believe it's in the rules, but it's I guess racing and all this information is not on the rules or on the website. But from my recollection, winning is a 4-point gap over second and then 2 points per position after that. So it's just that hard to make up 50 points just based on that style of point standing. Let's see if there's any other comments up in the comment section. Thanks, Chaz. And second question, I drove by the Vegas dirt track the other day, and that track mod looks like a very small track inside of the untouched large track. Any idea what's going on there? I heard that there is, or I've seen video where they're apparently building or built a quarter mile on the infield of Las Vegas, which, I mean, it is a really big racetrack, which doesn't really provide amazing racing. So I'm not against this this racetrack that is built in the infield. If it's super small, we'll see how it works out. Obviously, I think they can make adjustments on the fly since they built it so fast. Steve says Saturday heats are still are set by Thursday, Friday finishes, I believe. We'll see how that goes. Mike Loomer says, I already read that. And then Mark Stubson said there was a Hunt the Front TV East Alabama 100 event that Chris Madden got. The prize, $49,000. RTJ, Madden, Bronson, Herbs, Owen, C. Wright, Overton's great class of cars. And that was one of the topics that I had here to talk about on the show today, outside of these other things that I just run across my mind. I mean, look at this thing. How did the Simpsons know the future here? How did they know, guys? How are they always right? Of course, Francis Ngannou definitely got robbed. We all know this. And then look at this thing. This thing is badass. I don't know who's a water sport guy, but and I've done tubing a lot. This looks way more enjoyable than tubing. Who would not want to do this? I mean, falling off at the peak. Oh, actually, it gets to spinning pretty good. That's still got to be fun, though. Let's see who bites the dust first. That's got to be a halfway hard hit. Yeah, 4 or 5 people flew off right there. I don't know. I just see that as way more enjoyable than a tube ride or riding on a boat on its own. Let's see here. Yeah, this was the $49,000 to win Hunt the Front Super Dirt Series that a couple people messaged me today and was like, what is this? I've never even heard of this event. I mean, I heard Ricky Thornton say he's going to East Alabama. He's trying to get over the championship that was taken from him. But, you know, something when this Hunt the Front Super Dirt Series began that most people would have assumed is that their events would be pretty marquee or at least well known, or their reach throughout social media would make pretty much anything that they do a very paid attention to, almost marketing itself type of event, because it's the Hunt the Front, you know, people and group, the most popular thing on YouTube as far as dirt racing is concerned. But I have to agree, I really didn't see much promotion around this event. I didn't really see many Facebook ads or this, that, or buzz or posts and this, that, and the other. You know, that's something that I think Flow Racing and Dirt Vision does very well. Underrated for it is kind of promoting events, not just for in person, but just creating buzz through content and posting content to socials and sharing into social groups. I just didn't see that here with the Hunt the Front event at East Alabama. Maybe I missed something, but if I'm a dirt media guy myself, I pay attention to the things being talked about and being tossed around socially. I honestly can't sit here and say that I saw this event tossed around on the social domain. And the social domain runs the world, you know, and the Hunt the Front group has a lot of power in the social domain. And for some reason, this event just didn't translate. I go and look it up, and yeah, they got to post to an ad to go watch it on their huntthefront.tv or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, I just didn't hear anything about this race happening. Like I said, the only thing I did hear was Ricky Thornton Jr. referencing how they're just going to East Alabama. So I knew they were going to East Alabama, but did I look into it? No. I mean, honestly, I shouldn't have to look into it. If you want me to watch your race, it isn't my job to find you. It's your job to reach me. So it's kind of a weird situation here with the Hunt the Front East Alabama, a big $49,000 to win race that kind of no one heard about. Nobody knew was even happening. And honestly, I heard East Alabama, but I didn't hear 49,000. I thought it could have been some 10 or 20K. Didn't hear it was the Hunt the Front. I didn't hear nothing about it. I just didn't. Let's go to the chat here. Maybe there's some updates on the chat. What's your take on Hunt the Front stepping on the Southern All-Stars? Well, that's kind of a rivalry that started up down there, Southern All-Stars obviously was purchased by the XR group. XR did a lot of things, came onto the scene very fast, and have done a lot of stuff that a lot of people have actually taken and used in the mainstream domains that seem to hate them. But it was relatively very soon after that the Hunt the Front series, popped up and started up. And was in and running around the same areas and regions. Obviously, they were trying to provide a little bit more alternative super late model racing to the Florida region, so we can't hate them 100% on that. So they were technically doing the right thing for Florida racing, but it's just so close to the Mississippi, the Alabamas, the Georgia area that they were somebody or even Pensacola is not the same locational area as like a Volusia or some of the other Midway, Bubba. Those are, the distance between Pensacola and Bubba Raceway Park's 4 or 5 hours. So there's some pretty separated tracks that they were trying to get to, but obviously a lot of people saw this buzz that they had. A lot of people saw this instant reach that they had, and it was somewhat, for the late model world, the closest thing they got to kind of working with Kyle Larson to put on a race. Somebody with this humongous clout, and the Hunt the Front people do have that. The Hunt the Front people do have that clout, and I think people wanted that event. I think people wanted to jump on to the Hunt the Front situation besides the Southern All-Stars, and I think that obviously they would accept anyone who wanted to partner up and put on an event. But anyway, that's what I think on that, and yeah, I just don't understand why nobody heard about it. Another cool thing that I saw on the web space is this thing, this badass, like, new version kind of wedge winged car. I believe this was the 757 of Norwood, Shannon Norwood and his kid. Norwood Motorsports, a bunch of stuff they do graphic wise, and that's pretty slick how he did that. Look at the graphics down the inside. It's almost like if you wanted to make a case to bring this division of racing back with the wedge cars or these big giant, billboard style vehicles, this would be a good case. Make it look modern, put some modern graphics where you would put them in today's society, put the number up there like you would, build the whole right sideboard shifter area, or panel area, I guess you would call it, put it down there. This picture being from Greg Farmer photography, and you see that on the side of his panel slash spoiler wing. I don't know what you would want to call that. But a decent looking car. Definitely decent looking. And something else that's decent. But I don't need to play that, no. Something that's very decent that did happen, and people came to me bitching. People came to me bitching. This is at, the World Short Track Championship at Charlotte. And they've been hearing me talk about how we need to make sure in our premier divisions that you have to be 18 years of age to get into them, our late models and sprint cars. And how if you want to attract new people to the sport, local racetracks, the biggest thing that could detour new people from your sport is to see a kid get out of one of your race cars and automatically put it into a kiddie level of racing talent and ability. A very, very, put a period at the end of the sentence when you're talking about a kiddie league. All of a sudden it loses respect for your race cars, your competitors on the track. It's just not a good look. It's just not a good look to have kids getting out of these race cars, especially if you want to be perceived as any kind of professional entertainment. And if you don't want, we're not professional. Well, professionals get the eyes. People don't want to see hobbyists. I don't go to the YMCA to watch basketball. I go to the NBA arenas. I want to see the best. I'm an American. I like Batman. I don't give a damn about Robin. So you have to work on building that, and things like this. An 11-year-old getting out of a 602 may be great for the family celebrating, but in my opinion, it's just not good for the sport. Now, on the other hand of the scenario, I did have a message from somebody. I'm going to read it from them. It was another angle of looking at this, not from the one I am. He said, it's crazy how unattached folks are from the cost of the sport or hobby or whatever it is we do. Everyone thinks you can just wheel a crate late model at a big track like that to win. But in all reality, with the 602 holding it wide open is all you can ask out of it, if it's legal. Making the car roll as free as possible and spend big money on rear ends and lightweight, low drag parts. It's an uncorked spending spree, and folks with money love it. There's no way a 602 crate with a first-time racing 11-year-old kid should be able to run faster laps than Jeremy Steele in his 604 car on a big track. Plain and simple. So this guy is saying that there's something up with these 602 cars to where you can put money into them and buy an advantage more so than in 604s or super late models because they're just so hooked up. It's the car, the motors, the horsepower on these 602s, they're so locked down that if you set your stuff up right, you can 100% just dominate. Or if you have 2 or 3 pounds rotational weight taken here, or this lightweight part or that lightweight part, you can dominate. You could destroy the field. You can have a severe advantage over everybody. And that it's a spending spree. And that spending spree is what's killing the racing scene, is because they're allowing the lower divisions that are supposed to be for people just getting into the sport to be dominated by people with a bunch of money, because you can buy speed easier in this beginner class. They're not necessarily using it as a beginner class. They're using it as a bullying standpoint because they can perform better against lower drivers and with a little bit better funding. Now, I don't see that being the case here. That's what he's saying, and maybe across the board that's an issue. Rich people staying in lower divisions because they can't compete in higher ones, bullying the poor divisions that are supposed to advance drivers, not advance pocketbooks. In this case, though, however, I think it was an 11-year-old kid winning a race. And I don't, in this case, though, I just don't think sorry, I was trying to get to the dang picture of his car because they got the whole nice little picture of his car. Because if we're going to talk about him, we might as well have him on the screen. Beckham Malone, that's who this driver is. He's 11 years old. I do think as much as you should restrict 18-year-olds and 12-year-olds and 14 and 15-year-olds from racing in super late models and 305 sprint cars, I do think that this is where, if a 12-year-old wants to drive a full-size vehicle, 305 sprint cars, 602 late models is where these children should be. These are, unfortunately, guys, these are help me learn how to drive classes. These are beginner classes. And we shouldn't really restrict people with the money to compete in a 602 with age range, because once again, it's supposed to be your baby steps of your racing career. I do think we should implement something, though, in the upper echelons of the sport. I don't know how that would go over because, like I said, you got your Larsons and your other examples of young kids being able to handle it. But back to the drunk driving analogy, just because a few people can drive drunk doesn't mean that it's safe to allow everyone to be out there driving. And I think that's the case we have in racing right now. Obviously, on the sprint car side of things, kids out there with 900 horsepower rockets is a little more dangerous in that open wheel sprint car than it is in a boxed up 602 machine. Fenders can be used over here. I mean, you can't really do that in sprint car racing. So if somebody loses a little control or enters a little too hard in a late model, they run up into you and hit the side and bend your fenders and your doors, and you got to bang them out now the whole next day. Whereas in a sprint car, if a young kid goes in there and overdrives the entry a little bit, his right front tangles with the guy's left rear, and the dude goes flipping off into the fence, and hopefully he survives. So that's a little bit big of a difference. But I still think for the respect aspect of the sport, of our upper echelon divisions, our sprint cars, our super late models, I do believe that kids should not be allowed in those divisions for the sake of our sport. Once again, I'm not trying to be mean, but once your little kitty, once you get your new fans to your racetracks, and your little kitty pops out of a 410 sprint car super late model in victory lane, the respect for that class, the competitors, the division, that vehicle that you just introduced to new people is degraded. It is a defamational situation for your respect of your division, your sport, your driver's competition. I believe we have to be projecting super late model and sprint car racing as some of the best race car drivers on the planet. I don't care. They're not in NASCAR. They're not in F1. Oh, whoop-de-doo-dah day. They didn't have $15 million at a 16-year-old age to go and pursue a NASCAR career because that's all you need. It doesn't mean that they're less talented. It just means they had less money. And that's another reason to restrict ages of people being allowed into super late models and sprint cars. And that is because the other 11-year-old kids who might be just as talented as this guy right here, but they didn't have the money to have a situation where they were 11 years old. I mean, we want people to earn what they have. They didn't have a situation that their parents could afford this for them. So to keep fairness with those other 11-year-old kids who may want to go out and work really hard when they get 16 or 17 or 18, start a business, maybe earn $100,000 a year by the age of 25, 26, be very, very lucky. And by the time they're 28, they should be getting into a race car and being able to compete. And the world shouldn't look at them as like they're some kind of late bloomer that wasn't good enough as a child. No, they just didn't have the money to compete in race cars at 11 years old. In fact, I believe that the 28-year-old drivers of this industry, the 32, 35-year-old drivers of this industry are the Tom Bradys of this world. That is who we have to cheer for, because that's a Ricky Thornton Jr., that's some of these guys that went out there and earned it, not just on the racetrack, but in life as well. And I think that needs to be glamorized way more than 11-year-old kids winning. You do have some other stories here of the other drivers, but why is it this guy a headline? Why are people not sharing this everywhere? Why has this only got 27 shares? Why does this modified guy from North Carolina beats the baddest asses in the world, local boy, beats them all? He gets out the car, 5 shares. 5 shares, but kid, 11 years old, 235 shares. Let's hear it for 11-year-old. Everybody's paying attention, 500 likes. And y'all end up being the enablers. You could sit here and say I'm doing the same thing by talking about it because I'm giving it attention, but I'm only responding to the attention. I'm not the cause, y'all. I am the effect. Y'all are the cause for the effect that I'm providing. But once again, no respect. This is a guy who had to go work for it, kill himself to get the financial ability to be able to drive a race car. He ain't in nothing but a little shit box, it looks like, and he goes out there and kicks the best in the world for the second year in a row, back to back for this guy, and no one's even heard of him. Who's Taylor Cook, guys? Can someone tell me? Who's Taylor Cook? I ain't going to know who Taylor Cook is today, but I'm going to learn about Beckham Malone. So there's enablers, and back to the parts houses and stuff. Luckily, this kid's fast. They got kids that are this age that have the money that don't perform very well. And the parts houses, the engine builders, the chassis manufacturers, the shop guys, they will go to these parents and say, oh no, man, he just needs more years of experience, 2 or 3 more years, and they become the parts house vampires, sucking rich daddy's money because and enabling and giving some false confidence to the family so that they continue to spend money and keep your business open. So there's enablers in this for a financial gain. And it's sad, considering that these are the guys who work on their stuff and go out there and win races. But they have their pocketbook, and their pocketbook can run out. That's why I guess they're not as alluring, or they're only worth 5 shares. Pretty sad there, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, let's go to the chat section. Oh no, I see comments. What's up, Chaz? Maybe not banned. All right, let's see here. Having kids under 16 winning makes all lower level racing seem pointless. Very true. Do the Hunt the Front guys know who the Chaz is? Yes, at Bristol when I did my rap videos and intro videos, I was actually walking the pits doing content, and they said, hey, is that the Chaz? And I didn't know if they knew me or not, but at that point, I found out they did. We did an interview. They took a big group photo. It was kind of a really cool thing. Apparently, they used to keep up with me and follow me a lot on Facebook. That was prior to Facebook taking my Facebook page of 20,000 followers and 17 million views away from me because I called my friend a slut in the comment section. It took it as a slanderous term towards women and banned me. Of course, that was after a few other comments and stuff like that. But Facebook is just a mantra. And about a year and a half ago when that happened, that's when I switched to YouTube, and we are where we are today after a year and a half. So I don't know if they keep watching or still watching, but yes, they know of the Chaz. Wait, what's this about an 11-year-old? I just explained it. When will Brexton Bush or Owen Larson appear in a street stock? They won't. Too much competition. The poor man divisions have a lot of hitters in them, believe it or not. Hey, what's up, chat? I ain't paying a cent to watch a child drive around a racetrack. That's exactly right. And that's a reason I point out the importance for track promoters and people to understand that this is not helping your sport. This is not, and I was telling this to the World of Outlaws 5-6 years ago. I was like, you don't need to work with NASCAR. NASCAR's only using you. They're promoting all these kids that come up through your sprint car at 14 years of age so that they can project your sport as a grassroots high school training ground for kids. You do not want to sell World of Outlaws sprint car or late model racing as training wheels. You don't want to do that. Now, unfortunately, due to the influence of NASCAR in the last 30 years and Cole Trickle and Jeff Gordon, it's been really cool to be 5 years old in a go-kart, 14 years old in a sprint car or super late model on asphalt, and 20 in cup. And if you don't do that, you're past your prime and you're never going to get a chance. So I just think that people need to realize how important it is for the sport to be recognized as a professional level of sport, especially on your weekly divisions. Your drivers need to be respected. We are America. We do not cheer or go watch Robins. We like Batman. We don't like G League basketball. We like the NBA. We don't like the XFL. We like the NFL. We like to see the best versus the best go after it. And we have a decent case to be made that we are the best of the best in all forms of super late model and 410 sprint car racing. We legitimately have a case to say we're the best drivers in the world in these amazingly powerful, badass racing drifting vehicles that you've never heard about. But we also need to project it as they're not training tools. You know, I had a guy at the Chili Bowl a few years ago. He's about 40 years old. He comes up to me and says, Chaz, I really like what you say, but let me ask you a question. He said, when did my $45,000 midget race car turn into a developmental vehicle? When did this happen? And I, projected what I believe is the case, and it's a funneling system of money. You know, they use the midgets and these other rent-a-rides in the high-dollar market tier areas to weed out the people who don't have money and the people who do. And they'll get them to mortgage their houses on a $300,000 a year rent-a-ride or whatever, and it stifles the system, the TRD or Chevy, or it's been a system for these many of years. And I think that the bigger issue here is the enablers. It's the parts house and these chassis manufacturers, and in that scenario, the OEM manufacturers trying to manipulate hopes and dreams of parents and their kids and what they can do. More than likely, yeah, that's also playing a factor. But the true enablers are the ones that cheer it on, are the ones that scream it out loud, or the ones who share their posts, the ones who comment about their posts. You're making those guys famous. You know, the fan base has been cheering on Cole. We cheer on the 14-year-old in a sprint car or late model because we think that means they're going to be something one day. I come from a world where a World of Outlaw sprint car or super late model driver is a somebody already. For some reason, our sport, especially on the sprint car side, doesn't see it that way. Even some of the drivers themselves think that they haven't made it and that they're not, made in the racing world. They haven't become something, and it is pretty sad. That's why the world takes what that we show them and judges the sport overall. And I'm telling you what, we've had an issue with young little kids in race cars in the open wheel world for a while. I would hate to see that happen to late models. I would hate to see it. And if it does happen, hopefully they go to the super level or something like that. And hopefully these upper echelon levels get protected in some kind of way, though. I still think up to 18 years or older in a super. I think what we see here with this guy winning the 602, if the family has the money, guys, you shouldn't be telling them what they want to race. Apparently the one guy thinks that they're cheating, and that's the only way you could be that fast in a 602, because apparently it was faster than the 604s in the same racing conditions. And once again, back to the sympathy and us cheering it on. What organization or tech man is going to disqualify an 11-year-old little boy and his family who just started cheering and crying in victory lane? Are you really going to walk up and say that was bad? I don't know. That's what that guy's saying. I just think that if somebody does have the money, they want to pursue racing, and they are very young of age, 602 late models, UMP modifieds, 305 sprint cars, midgets, lower tier divisions of dirt racing is where these guys should go and stay. So I don't really have a problem with him winning the 602 late model division event. That's a kiddie. That's a developmental. That's a learner class. Now, for some reason, him winning the learner class was a bigger deal to the fan base, the enablers, the promoters, the media, than the guy who's from North Carolina who won the UMP modifieds for the back-to-back years. The other guy who jumps out of a 604 in his win. Apparently, that doesn't matter. And that's a problem. You got to self-reflect from now and then. What's up, Chaz? Have you ever heard of Talon Willis, and are you a fan? I am. Bam Bam at 13 years old and is driving late models now. But that Bam Bam, I think that's that 555 guy or whatever, you only know about him because they have videos and they promoted their videos on Facebook to put him in front of your face. If you were going to look for that Bam Bam guy or trying to hear about that Bam Bam guy, you probably never would. If you think about it, you would probably never hear about that Bam Bam guy. What event has he won? What shocker win did he have? What show with the Outlaws or anything on the radar of super dirt late model racing has he done? The only reason you know that Bam Bam guy is because they made content and paid it to promote it. They put you in his face, or they put him in your face. I mean, they just did a great marketing scheme around that guy. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I was just getting in here and getting out. I do want to say we'll probably go live tomorrow. Spike was supposed to call in. He did not. But we got plenty of things to do. It is Sunday. Everybody say a prayer to God, especially with Israel and everything that's happening right now. We got to be on our P's and Q's in the world. Let's see. Well, we got some more chats popped up. Daddy's money got his 11-year-old son attention in the heart of NASCAR country. Mission accomplished. It don't matter. I saw Trey Mills at 12 years old. Win at Bristol Dirt in his first go. I believe that was a 602 or a 604, one of the two, and it didn't do nothing. It didn't do a damn thing to promote his careers to the NASCAR drivers. It didn't help at all. I don't think that that's a hoodwink to perform well in front of NASCAR. It's a hoodwink. They're just trying to get you to rent more things. Hot take, non-wing USAC 410 sprint cars are the baddest in Memphis in dirt racing. Modern day cowboys, I wish they or talked about more. If they have more competition, I would talk about them more, but I just don't think that's where the talent of America has been going the last 20, 30 years, and I think that you have a few drivers in there who are upper echelon, but I think you got a lot of drivers who ain't. It's just mainly Indiana and Arizona, a few other areas that, Missouri's kind of stepped it up, that even race non-wing. I just don't think there's a lot of competition. I think you could take the top 40 winged racers in the country, put them full-time USAC, and they would probably all dominate the series outside the top 5 in the USAC National Sprint Car Championship point standings this year. Those other 40 guys, the 6 on back, y'all are gone. The wing guys would destroy you. I just think that. Sorry. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. It was just a quick little live one to get something out. Had to talk about this topic. Everybody wanted me to. I think it's good, but for supers, 410s, I just don't think it is. But anyways, be sure to like the video, comment below with what you think. Share the video. Matters more than anything. Super chat, memberships, get your name up here to the channel. Always goes a long way. And look forward for us to be live for the next couple weeks. And obviously, this is Music November music. We're going to be looking to put out a new song every week. One new song, at least one new song every week is coming in November. The daily lives may slow down, but the entertainment is ramping up. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. We will catch you next time. As always, be sure to subscribe. No Shave November is not happening, bud. Well, maybe with this head. The troll is back. With these rap songs we're going to be putting out, these shots we're going to be taking, the troll is back, buddy. The troll is back.
We can ride anywhere we need to go. We can ride